Hello everyone, and welcome to The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, spoilers, Steffy Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, will have a shocking awakening when she tries to put her night with Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, behind her. Steffy's chances of becoming pregnant and facing a dreadful conclusion are high. In the August 24th episode, Carter persuaded Steffy to keep their secret for good. Steffy consented to erase what had happened from her memory and pledged that nothing would come of their night together. Of course, a soapy promise like that often results in disaster. Steffy's proclamation appears to be a guarantee that she will end up with a bun in the oven and concerned she is pregnant by Carter. Since B&B appears to be setting the stage for some spectacular baby announcement, we should evaluate how things might play out. Steffy may get a bout of sickness at some time, which sends her fleeing from the CEO's office or even derailing a romantic evening at home. It's easy to see John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, wondering if Steffy has caught something. Steffy may pretend to be sick, only to discover that she is truly suffering from morning sickness. By then, Steffy might notice she's late and start stressing out about possibly carrying Carter's baby. If Daphne Walton, Muriel Hilaire, notices Steffy's nausea, she may presume her closest friend is pregnant and assume Finn is the father. To be honest, Finn may be the baby daddy because he has a very busy bedroom life with Steffy. Even still, Steffy will have to consider the option, as Carter will also be a father candidate, assuming the pregnancy narrative proceeds as planned. Soapy fainting bouts are also utilized to signify pregnancy in daytime dramas. Steffy could also have one of those, depending on how B&B wants to play things. Whatever the circumstances, Steffy will be unable to keep her night with Carter under control, as she had promised. According to The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Carter and Steffy's hidden romance will come to a head sooner or later, so stay tuned for the consequences. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Steffy's morning sickness strikes hard. Pregnancy warning signs emerge? Steffy Forrester Finnegan may be in for another life-changing shock on The Bold and the Beautiful, and the first warning sign could be something she initially dismisses. Morning sickness, abrupt nausea, weariness, and a developing sense that something is wrong may cause Steffy to fear as she wonders if she is pregnant. Of course, in the world of bed and breakfast, pregnancy is rarely without challenges. Steffy's timing could not be worse. Her marriage to Finn is already under tremendous strain, and her current emotional anguish has pushed her into perilous terrain. Steffy has been unsure whether she can continue her marriage after what happened to Finn and Sheila. Then she had her intoxicated encounter with Carter. Recent spoiler rumors and fan conjecture have centered on the potential that Steffy and Carter's night together will have unexpected effects. The two are shown waking up in a compromising posture after an emotionally charged night, leaving viewers to wonder whether they had sex and, if so, what the implications would be. That idea makes Steffy's morning sickness even more concerning. Imagine Steffy waking up one morning and discovering she isn't feeling like herself. Initially, she might blame stress. After all, she's been coping with marital issues, family strife, guilt, and emotional tiredness. Anyone under that much strain may develop nausea or loss of appetite. But then the symptoms keep appearing. The smell of coffee could make her stomach spin. She might skip breakfast since the mere thought of food makes her nauseated. She may become dizzy or particularly exhausted during the workplace. Steffy may eventually be forced to confront the possibility she has been frantically avoiding. What if she's pregnant? That question might swiftly turn her uneasiness into fear. Steffy's pregnancy would entail more than just having another child. It could reveal all she's been attempting to hide. Steffy already has a problematic background with pregnancy and paternity. Her previous pregnancy with Hayes created significant confusion when Liam was initially considered a possible father until Finn was finally verified as Hayes' biological father. Given that history, another unexpected pregnancy is especially explosive. This time, however, the situation may be far more dangerous. If Steffy is indeed pregnant shortly after her encounter with Carter, she may realize that she cannot simply assume Finn is the father. This creates an impossible situation. Will she tell Finn? Will she tell Carter? Does she take a private pregnancy test and hope the results are negative? Or does she try to convince herself that the symptoms are due to stress? Steffy would definitely choose denial first. She has every reason to be afraid. Finn has already begun to work on repairing their marriage, while Steffy has yet to decide whether she can forgive him. At the same time, she feels guilty about what happened to Carter. If she realizes she is pregnant, she will be forced to face the repercussions of both relationships at once. Carter is already suffering with heartbreak, so the pregnancy could turn out to be an emotional nightmare. Carter and Daphne's marriage has been severely strained, particularly because Daphne has been saddened by the idea of not being able to have children. Recent developments have made motherhood a big concern for the pair. This complicates Steffy's prospective pregnancy. If Carter is the father, Steffy would not be carrying a hidden child. She would be carrying a child capable of destroying several relationships. Carter could unexpectedly have the child he truly desires. But that miracle would come at a terrible cost. Daphne might get crushed. Finn could be betrayed. Steffy's children could get caught in the middle. And Steffy herself may be forced to live with a secret that becomes increasingly difficult to conceal. That explains why the morning sickness angle could be so effective. The initial symptom would be tiny, nearly insignificant. But for Steffy, it might signal the start of a massive secret. She could even try to hide it from Taylor. Taylor knows her daughter exceedingly well, which could be an issue. Taylor may notice something is awry if Steffy abruptly stops eating, appears fatigued, or disappears to the bathroom. Steffy might claim that she is all right. But Taylor may not believe her. A mother who notices tiny changes in her daughter's conduct may eventually ask Steffy the question she fears the most. Are you pregnant? Steffy might freeze. She could reject it right away, but her reply could tell more than she says. And once Taylor becomes suspicious, it may only be a matter of time until others notice. Finn could be next. The tragedy is that Finn has been desperately trying to save his marriage. He has previously tried to convince Steffy that he can be trusted and that his connection with Sheila does not have to destroy their family. Recent narrative events have put Steffy and Finn at a crossroads due to Finn's decision to give Sheila another shot. Now, just as Finn believes there is still hope for them, Steffy may discover she is expecting another man's kid. This would make reconciliation nearly impossible. At least initially. Finn may be overjoyed when he hears the word pregnant. He may feel the news implies Steffy has chosen their marriage and family. He could envision another child reinforcing their bond. Then the time can start to irritate him. Finn may ultimately begin asking questions. When did Steffy discover she was pregnant? When did the symptoms start? Why is she acting strangely? Why does she appear afraid rather than happy? These inquiries could put Steffy under a lot of pressure. The drama could keep this mystery going for weeks, letting viewers to see Steffy suffer with guilt while Carter becomes increasingly eager to protect their secret. Carter would have his own reasons for panicking. If Steffy informs him she is pregnant, he may realize that their drunken night has resulted in a lasting bond between them. Whatever happens to Daphne, he could be the biological father of Steffy's child. That may shift Carter's priorities overnight. He might demand that Steffy inform Finn. Steffy might refuse. Alternatively, the opposite could happen. Steffy may want to tell Finn right away because she can't live with the guilt, but Carter encourages her to keep silent because the truth will destroy both marriages. That conflict has the potential to be one of the storyline's most tense moments. Carter might even start looking for a means to shield Daphne from the reality. One possibility already being considered in spoiler circles is a covert surrogacy explanation. Some media have theorized that Steffy and Carter may explore presenting the pregnancy as a surrogacy agreement between Carter and Daphne, especially because Daphne has been battling with fertility troubles. That would be an outlandish answer, but B&B excels at them. Imagine Steffy agreeing to carry the baby while everyone thinks she's assisting Carter and Daphne. At first glance, it may appear to be an ideal cover. But secrets in Los Angeles never stay hidden. Especially when the people involved include Steffy, Carter, Finn, Daphne, Ridge, Taylor, and the rest of the Forrester and Finnegan families. Eventually, someone would notice something. Perhaps the baby's paternity might raise suspicions. Maybe Carter may accidentally reveal too much. Perhaps Steffy would break down emotionally in front of Finn. Or perhaps a DNA test will finally reveal everything. That is where the narrative may get combustible. Steffy may initially assume she has control of the situation. She may convince herself that she had enough time to determine what to do. However, as pregnancy progressed, the secret became more difficult to keep. Her body would become proof. Morning sickness may be accompanied by additional symptoms. Her clothes could start fitting differently. She may grow protective of her stomach. She could grow more emotional. And those closest to her may start putting the pieces together. Finn, in particular, may sense that Steffy is withholding something from him. Finn has already struggled to re-establish trust, so this would be disastrous. If Steffy becomes aloof and secretive, he may feel she is planning to leave him. He might not instantly suspect Carter. This could make the final revelation much more distressing. Carter and Steffy would be compelled to continue working together despite carrying a huge secret. Every interaction could be harmful. What happens if Finn arrives into the office while Carter and Steffy are discussing their pregnancy? What if Daphne notices them exchanging worried looks? What would happen if Ridge overheard a conversation? The options are limitless. Steffy's emotional state may grow increasingly unstable. She might love Finn. She may still want her marriage. She may regret what happened to Carter. However, she cannot undo the night. If the pregnancy test returns positive, the effects are permanent. That is why the time Steffy ultimately takes the test may be one of the most dramatic episodes in the novel. She might stare at the outcome in total amazement. Initially, she may refuse to accept it. She could take another test. Then another. And if the outcome remains positive, Steffy may fall emotionally. The question would no longer be about whether she is pregnant. The inquiry would become, who is the father? And Steffy could be frightened of finding out. It is also possible that morning sickness is unrelated to pregnancy. B&B may utilize the symptoms as a false alarm, leading Steffy to believe she is pregnant before another twist changes everything. Perhaps she is stressed. Maybe she hasn't been sleeping. Perhaps her body is simply reacting to her surroundings. But even if the pregnancy test comes out negative, the dread may persist. When Steffy learns that pregnancy is conceivable, she may begin to scrutinize every aspect of her life. That alone could prompt her to make a confession. She might decide that maintaining secrets is hurting her. She might eventually sit down with Finn and tell him about Carter. If it happens, the consequences will be enormous. Finn could be devastated. Steffy may beg forgiveness. Carter could be compelled to confront Daphne. The entire family might be involved. However, if Steffy is genuinely pregnant, a confession would be even more complicated. Finn may forgive the affair but struggle with the idea that the baby is not his. Carter might want a paternity test. Steffy might reject because she is terrified of what the results will show. And Daphne could find herself in the midst of a nightmare she never asked for. The most dramatic scenario is that Steffy stays silent until the pregnancy is impossible to conceal. This would allow the show to develop suspense. Finn might get increasingly suspicious. Carter might become increasingly desperate. Daphne may unintentionally get closer to the secret. Taylor might get protective of Steffy. Rich may also notice that his daughter's behavior is changing. Eventually, someone will crack. The question is who? Steffy has always been characterized as a strong, resolute lady seeking to control her own future. However, this circumstance could demonstrate that even Steffy cannot control every outcome. Her morning sickness might be more than a physical ailment. It could be the first sign that her carefully crafted existence is going to unravel. The irony is that Steffy has spent so much time worrying about Finn's relationship with Sheila, fearing that Sheila poses a threat to her family. Steffy could now be carrying a secret capable of harming the same family. Finn may finally recognize that the person preventing him from enjoying a calm marriage is not Sheila. It could be Steffy. Of course, this does not excuse Finn's errors. Their marriage was already in danger before Carter came into the picture. Steffy's resentment of Finn, as well as his decision to keep a connection with Sheila, caused a significant emotional rift between them. The most recent storyline plainly places the relationship at a crossroads. However, an affair and a possible pregnancy would escalate their issues to an entirely new level. Steffy may eventually have to determine what she really wants. Does she want Finn? Does she want Carter? Does she want to save her marriage? Is she trying to shelter her children from another family scandal? Or does she believe she made an irreversible mistake? Those questions could shape the next big chapter in her story. And if the pregnancy is genuine, one question will dominate everything. Who is the father? Fans are already speculating about Steffy becoming pregnant as a result of her encounter with Carter, with some predicting another paternity question and others expecting a cover-up. For the time being, morning sickness could be the first indicator. Steffy could try to ignore it. She may tell herself that it's stress. She might even convince Finn that everything is all right. But, eventually, she will have to confront reality. If Steffy's pregnancy test comes back positive, her life might alter in an instant. And if Carter is the father, the secret might become one of the most dangerous ticking time bombs in Los Angeles. The Bold and the Beautiful has all of the elements for another explosive pregnancy storyline. A struggling marriage, an illicit rendezvous, a prospective baby, a desperate secret, a wounded husband, and a paternity question ripe for explosion. Steffy may believe that the most difficult decision she faces is whether or not to forgive Finn. But if the morning sickness is truly a pregnancy symptom, she may quickly learn that her main issue is far more personal. She may be holding the secret that will destroy everything. And once that secret emerges, there may be no way to keep the truth hidden. The morning light seeped through the Forrester Creations CEO office's floor-to-ceiling windows, creating long golden stripes across Steffy Forrester's immaculate desk as she sat with her head in her hands. She'd arrived early, ready to immerse herself in design sketches and quarterly reports, anything to keep her thoughts from wandering back to the night she and Carter Walton had swore would never happen again. The agreement had been obvious. Delete it. Forget it. Proceed as if the wine-soaked hours on the same office couch had never occurred. However, her body seemed determined to remind her. It began as a weak wave, a subtle shift in her stomach that she disregarded as residual stress from the unending struggles with hope, her lingering skepticism of Finn, and the burden of safeguarding her children. She reached for the mug of black coffee she typically had at this time, which usually calmed her anxiety. The first taste touched her mouth, and her stomach protested. A strong, unexpected burst of nausea hit her so rapidly that she barely had time to shove the chair back and race to the office's private bathroom. She locked the door, held herself over the sink, and waited for the sensation to subside. It didn't. Instead, it became more intense, and she was left grasping the icy porcelain, inhaling through clenched teeth as her mind raced. When the worst of it had passed, she splashed cold water on her face and looked at her reflection. Pale. Dark bags under her eyes that makeup couldn't quite conceal. She looked like she'd been running on fumes for weeks, which was true, yet something felt different. Steffy had been pregnant previously. She recognized the signals. A sudden aversion to coffee. Certain scents made her stomach flip. The bone-deep exhaustion that no amount of sleep appeared to alleviate. She reached a hand to her abdomen almost instinctively, then jerked it away, as if the gesture itself might reveal something she wasn't prepared to confront. Back at her workstation, she pushed herself to start a spreadsheet. Numbers were swimming. She had just managed to concentrate when she heard a quiet knock and the door opened. Finn strolled inside, carrying 2 cups from the cafe downstairs. His smile was hopeful, the same cautious expression he had worn since coming from Monaco and attempting to repair what Sheila's presence had nearly ruined. "Thought you might need this," he explained, placing 1 cup in front of her. The perfume of freshly ground beans filled the air. Steffi's stomach churned again. She smiled tightly and slid the cup away, pretending to make room for sketches. "Thanks. I'm already caffeinated." Finn looked at her. "You seem exhausted. Have you slept at all?" "Enough." She kept her gaze fixed on the television. "There's a lot on my plate. The youth line pitch and the board meeting are both scheduled for next week. You know how it is." He nodded, continuing to watch. "If you're coming down with something, maybe take the afternoon. Kelly and Hayes would love more time with Mom." The thought of their children caused her chest to constrict. She could not afford to get sick. She couldn't afford whatever this meant. "I am fine." "Really?"